Magandang araw po sa inyong lahat. Narito kayo sa Mangahas Interviews. Pinalad po tayong makausap ngayong umaga ang presidente ng University of the Philippines. Bagong-bagong inaugurated lang ho at si Attorney Angelo Jimenez. Siya po ay graduate ng Sociology sa University of the Philippines, graduate ng Law sa University of the Philippines din, talagang isko, at nagkaroon ng Master degree sa Public Management mula sa Lee Kuan Yew School of Public Policy sa National University of Singapore at naging Kennedy School of Government Scholar. Abay, marami hong nabaybay ng trabaho din ito. Naging parang Deputy Administrator ng Office of Workers Welfare Administration at nagtrabaho din sa kasama ng ilang congressman. Welcome to the program, Attorney Jijil.
Yes, welcome Malu. Nasa akin naman po ang karangalan na nandito sa Mangahas Interviews.
Okay, hindi nyo na itatanong for disclosure. Naging Student Council Chairman si Attorney Jijil. Ako din po nung unang panahon, Student Council. At marami po kong binaybay ng mga episodes sa buhay si Attorney Jijil bilang dating aktivista at miyembro ng mahalagang grupo ng fraternity, yung Alpha Phi Beta. Tama po, sir?
Yes. Tama yun.
Alright, umpisahan na po natin. 22nd President of the University, ang inyong catchword, service to the people. Ano yung gusto ninyong makompleto na achievements in the next 2,100 days as President?
Napakalaki ng tanong mo, Malu, ano? Pero sinasummarize ko yan in 8 words. No? Ang broad directions na gusto kong tahakin dito, unang-una yung research power.
Okay.
No? Pangalawa, yung learner-centered digital transformation. And then yung pangatlo, yung improving democratic access. No? That's a very old theme, but I'm trying to renew the theme, reinvent and reframe the theme sa pangalawa. Yung una, yung research power, we should really be very conscious and very purposive in trying to remake ourselves as primarily a research university, a public research university. Okay. Yun po talaga ang pwede nating biggest bang for the buck, no? Yung value added natin. Because teaching is the second, tatlo kasi yung natin pillars ng UP, no? Teaching, research, and public service, or tinatawag nila extension. I don't like the word extension, no? Because it's an integral part, parang extended ka lang, no? Pero so we want to do that, no? So we have to improve our research output. That is ang focus dito is to solve real-world problems. So, yung hindi lang yung mag-research ka lang for promotion, for your academic titles, but to really pick areas that are relevant to the people. And the more disruptive, the better. No?
Okay.
In terms of empowering people. Number 2, yung digital transformation. I want to focus on learner-centered. Kasi the traditional 18th, 17th century mode of teaching is really teacher-centered. No? Correct. I know, you don't know, I will fill an empty jar. No? So ang gusto natin, learner-centered, empowered learner, basically we want to light the fire, no? To improve curiosity, for people to be able to be independently pursue knowledge path towards their life goals. No? Ang third nun, Malu, is basically improving democratic access. Now, ganito yung reframing ko sa democratic access. Sa panahon natin, siguro natin, pwede ko pa ba, kasi idol ka namin, Malu, no? You were the first council chair right after martial law. I mean, that was revived. Okay. So talagang kami, yung generation namin, we were looking at you talaga. No? But at any rate, parang nagkaroon ng focus before na puro na mayayaman ng UP, tapos kailangan magkaroon ng chance ang mga mahirap makapasok sa UP. So, in other words, improve not just equity and justice, but as well as more students should be able to come to UP. Now, I have redefined this thing. I'm feeling UP is now very elitist in terms of composition. No? I mean, and it is not just elitist in a specific term, but we are aware that how education can sometimes reinforce existing social inequalities, di ba? In a sense na simple lang, mayaman ka, you can get a good basic education and therefore you can qualify for the stringent UP exams. Okay. If you do that all over time, darating ang panahon na init na talaga yan. Kasi sino lang naman ang makapasa ng matinding UPCAT, no? Now, ang ano ko lang dito is, I want to strengthen engagement with other SUCs and other universities. Ang main task ng UP is not to provide education, it is to lead in education. That is a very completely different topic. Now, if you are able to help other schools achieve at least a UP grade or approximate UP grade education, the idea is that you don't have to be in UP to be in UP to get a UP education. So for me, that is even more democratic. Can you imagine our bright people no longer have to come to Diliman or the 8 campuses because they have their own regional centers of excellence in their area and they're likely to work there as well. No? So yung concept na yon is that we take seriously ang mission natin to lead in higher education. And hindi na dapat sabihin ng UP number 1. For me, matagal na 7 years ko na sinasabi, dapat tama na yung UP number 1, no? Unang-una, with 25% of the budget. Kahit ibigay mo sa ibang university yan, baka sila ang maging number 1, no?
Okay.
So irrelevant na yun. Ang focus natin basically is global referencing na. I mean, this is one small world already. We cannot be parochial, no? Yung description natin of nationalism is very narrow. I'm a Jokno nationalist No, nabasa ko yung book ni Kapepe Jokno. Nationalist must also be internationalist, sabi niya. And I was a student then, no.
Okay.
Kasi nakikita niya na yata ang broad contours of the development of the future. And Pepe Jokno was truly a visionary, no. Then after reading Constantino, you might want to move to Jokno as well.
Okay, to sing our own song, parang sabi niya.
Yes, yeah.
All right. Okay. Attorney Gigil, ang atin hong problema ngayon parang these are very big, bold reforms that you'd allow to institute. Pero ano ho yung preparedness ng UP? You're getting about 20 billion pesos in budget every year. And do you have parang the numbers, the financial plan to
well, I don't have the specific figures in my head, the accurate down to the decimal, no? But roughly around 23,000 ang budget, billion ang UP, no?
23 billion.
But about 6 billion of that is really PGH.
Okay.
And PGH is more than just UP. It is the primary tertiary hospital of the country. Alam mo yung PGH, when I once checked, they serve 600,000 patients a year. Yeah. No, you couldn't possibly have quality medical care in one hospital with that figure. No? Yeah. So that is why they're allocated a larger sum than most. Alam mo yung personnel lang, 2001 I think, 2001 figures. The biggest campus in UP is UP Diliman. They would have about 4,700 personnel. Lahat na. All right. The second biggest, guess what?
UP Los Baños? UP
No, it's PGH.
PGH, okay.
They have 4,600, about 100 lang differences, no? A lot of people don't understand this because PGH serves the entire nation. But they are also our teaching hospital, no? Okay. And we are able to help a lot of people and develop new technologies, new approaches to public health through PGH. Of course, with the National Institutes of Health in UP Manila.
All right. Now, let's go to, kung hindi pa kayo ready sa financials, yung research. Parang ang sabi nila, talaga namang maraming research grants at projects na ongoing sa UP. In fact, you get a lot of money from foreign donors, government agencies na nag-allocate ng research fund for UP. Pero, is there a problem with right now, ano yung tutok ng research? Yung sabi ninyong teaching function ng UP, yung cross-university service ng UP. Anong dapat tutukan?
Yeah, I'm trying to come out with a broad research agenda, no? Kasi hindi alam mo yung research, merong public funded research, merong mga private funded research, and there and many of our teachers are able to find funding on their own na hindi na natin monitor, no?
Correct.
Pero walang problema 'yon. Ang ano ko lang is basically the public funded research because that represents the interest of the people through the government, no?
All right. Okay.
Ang ano ko lang is that I want to create a research agenda to prioritize certain things. 6 years ago, I have already asked this question in the board. What drives UP research? Is it the idiosyncrasy of the professor or the researcher? Is it their desire for promotion? Kasi merong ranking yan, no? Parang careerism na yan. Or does it really come from the ground, no? The demands ng mga tao ng ating communities, no? Now, all of these are relevant. I once sat on some on a dissertation pa ng mga students, no, nakita ko yung topic ng dissertation like culture, Filipino popular culture as can be seen in comics, or
Okay.
the Bagadi tradition in the AFP. Now, those are really good ones, no, because they build national identity, self-awareness, and it goes into the specificity of our culture, no, yung granular talaga, no. Pero I have no problem with that. Ang ano lang is that I want to strengthen relationships, as institutionalized relationship with the industry. Kasi they're the ones who absorb our graduates. I want to strengthen institutional relations with government because government establish national priorities.
Correct.
And then come out with a certain, and then prioritize ano ba talagang research na gusto natin. That's
Okay.
one thing. Now, if you're asking me where I want to go, I'm in the process of trying to build that direction. Number two, ang worry ko talaga sa research is this. Where do they go? Until the research goes to the ground, ang term na ginagamit ng iba niyan is until they're commercialized, meaning it enters into the field of market, no? Medyo maraming allergic sa word na commercialized, but pero that's the term being used. Now, when it goes into the market, whether it's proprietary or for free, it goes into the market. That is when research matter to our people.
All right.
So, nasaan ba itong mga research? Alam mo, Malu, I don't know where they are. I know many of them, of course, but ang dami, you're right, ang daming research. Many of them hindi na nga monitor ng systems. No? Because, you know, we have a systems administration and we have a CU administration. And the heavy lifting is at the constituent university level.
All right. Okay. So, ang magiging malinaw sa inyong plano is parang tipong a university na better prepared for what you call a global university status. Tapos yung digital transformation. I understand that it started already, di ba po?
Yes,
yung connectivity is not even. Kasi may mga spots pa rin even sa Diliman, and some of the constituent units na tawag ninyo, yung 8 university constituent units ng UP, hindi naman properly or fairly or fully connected. So ano yung plano ninyo doon? Saan ang lugar na maraming dead spots at ano yung inyong balance of work sa digital transformation ng UP?
Yes, I'm asking Boy to give me an audit of all those technical needs, no? Pero Madu, we go beyond that, no? Kasi yung digitalization is more than just connectivity. No? Internet connectivity. For me, it is primarily an outlook in life. No, we are one world and we are engaged in the world, and we are going to try to solve world problems. No, of course, when you say world problems, yung problema ng lipunan natin, even our immediate surroundings sa UP, are world problems because we are of this world. No, everything we do is part of the world. No? So there can be no such thing as an isolated act. Kay Che Guevara pala yun. No? Pero no, so we are engaged for as long as it's part of solving the problems of humanity. We are solving the problems of the world. So that's the first level. The second level is awareness that we are connected. Our connectedness with the rest of humanity, our common problems. And this is facilitated to digital media. No, instantaneous. Alam niyo naman siguro yung ano natin, ang sabi nila 50 years ago, revolutions in transport technology and even communication has killed distance, has slayed distance. Today, virtual reality, instantaneous connection is trying to threaten the very concept of distance. No?
Correct.
When I was reflecting, ako nadidepress din ako doon sa lahat tayo sa pandemic.
Mga puno daw nakaharang, kaya marami kayong dead spots. Luma ang mga building ng UP.
Yeah. So, merong tayong, I just talked to the computers in charge in Diliman, no? In charge kahapon. So, we were trying to look at the budget for more routers, yung access point. I don't really know what our tech is called that, no? But that for me is something easier to deal because a problem identified is a problem solved. Just a matter now of implementing it, no? What I'm worried about are the problems we have yet to understand. That's that's for me, that is the more challenging thing. And alam mo ganito, there are several layers why I feel that this is a very unique time and that we living today are part of a fortunate generation in the sense that we can put the stamp of our character, our deepest aspirations, our deepest devotions into the new world that is being formed today. Number one, nagkakaroon na talaga ng shifting, no? Yung global culture, it's now global. Number two, it's highly digital. It's a digital age, and it is creating several things. Number one, yung sinasabi nilang VUCA world, no? Yung vulnerable, uncertain, complex, morally ambiguous world that is characterized by fast changes.
All
So
right.
this is a very confusing time, no? That has never happened in history. Children living today, parents living today, live a different life from their parents, from their parents 10 years ago. And children born today will live a different life than we live today. No?
All right.
And this is creating stress. And it is affecting not just education, but everyone, no? But here we are in an education institution whose primary task is to think,
All
to
right. Okay.
facilitate speculative thoughts, no? That's yung number one, yung changes. Now,
All right.
on the specific thing, Malu, hindi pa tayo tapos sa K-12 transformation natin. Hindi pa tapos, no? K-12 it will take probably 20 years for us to learn kung if K-12 work and then correct course every now and then. That's number three. We just came from a pandemic, no? That disrupted our lives. So all these problems are related to the kind of transformation that we want to make. And for me, no one has the challenge right now is not just technology. For me, we are all challenged
Mindset wise
or vision.
All
No,
right.
for me, the visionary should take center stage right now, and it's not.
All right. President Gigil, ang alam ko meron na kayong PhD program sa data science at artificial intelligence. Kabubukas lang daw po. At ang question lalabas niyan is, ano yung magiging role ng mga taga-UP? Because we've seen digital transformation programs in some government agencies. Usually, external team yung pumapasok because it's about software, it's about hardware, it's about practices, as you said, as you said, mindset. So, ano yung magiging role? Kasi I understand you have a team now that is looking at auditing yung capacities ng UP for digital transformation and pero meron kayong tao na may training.
Yes, we do. We are also challenged by the technical aspect of that, no? Because these are all technology heavy and resource hungry kind of. And I told them na digital transformation is not a labor of one UP president. It has to be multiple term president. But what we want is to create the foundation for the thinking behind this thing. This is why I asked the help of Boy, and I wanted to do two things, not just audit. I want him to consult everyone to finally reinforce na gusto natin yung empowering learner-centered digital transformation. We're not going to replace teachers or staff with machines. No, we're not going to replace labor with capital. What we're trying to do is to enhance our human resources so that through technology to enhance their capabilities and proficiencies.
All right. Now, I'm seeing and hearing people say that you have a lot of good ideas. One of them is yung sinasabi ninyong public service. Ano po? Yung dapat you lead doon ng UP. And you mentioned something like engineers to the barrios para doctors to the barrios.
Right.
How exactly are you planning to do that? Ano yung service to the community?
There are two things, no? I would like our community, not just our students, no, but through pahinungan, teachers and professors, to be engaged in our immediate communities. By immediate, of course, I will leave that to them to define what is immediate. But it could be be just Cruz Naligas, no, or it could be Tondo, or it could be somewhere in their neighborhood in whatever province that they can have, no, and I just have met the Pahinungod team and I gave already my vision for them, and I encourage them to really recreate and reimagine our Pahinungod program, which I think is suffering from a lot from low prioritization. I want to take center stage. The other one, I want to create a new vice president for positions. Wala ako, I want to. Because we have an academic
3 days.
We have a great vice president for academic affairs, no, my professor, Cynthia Bautista. But nakita ko she's practically 70% of the work of the president of UP. No? But I want to separate, to break her responsibilities down to create 2 more offices. Number one, I want to separate research and innovation from academic affairs because I want research and renovation to be able to run at its own pace. There's a third one. I want to create a vice president for engagement, no, or public service, no, whatever. I don't have a name for that yet. And this will provide the third pillar of UP, which is really public service. And we've served many government agencies already. We cover hundreds of thousands, no, every year in terms of service, and yet no one knows about that. But I want to organize that and approach it in a more program way. No? Itong sinabi mo, ang sabi sa kanila, let our students and teachers immerse themselves in our communities and make a social analysis and what is the best intervention that we can offer as UP lang ha, because we don't solve the world. We are just a university, part of a larger community.
Okay.
Ganito yung malo. Suppose pupunta ka sa isang community, bakit mahirap ang mga tao doon? Farmers sila. Nakita mo kulang pala ng tubig. And mini dams, very simple. You can even have mini hydroelectric dams, very small, can serve just 10 families in a very remote purok, no? And for me, that is disrupting. And so that the community can feel the impact of UP.
Okay.
But more than that, Madu, more than that, I want the impact to be in UP itself. Ganito, ang thinking ko is this: we have always lived by honor and excellence, no? But ako pa sa akin, una muna honor, no, for excellence, no. Pero I think that these have become very individualistic traits. Magagaling pa rin talaga mga estudyante natin, magagaling pa rin talaga mga guro natin, no? Pero ang tingin ko, mas kailangan na nating i-emphasize din yung malasakit, no? I know this is probably sound hackneyed already to people, but elite na talaga tayo eh. When will our students ever experience engaging our community in a program way? Alam ko naman marami dyan volunteers, but it is not really, it's an image that has to be filled with sinews. We have to put muscles and blood into that.
All right. Now, Attorney Gigil, that's a very good idea, but you might encounter certain opposition from, for instance, parents. Why will you bring my son or daughter to a community na unsure sila ano yung mangyayari? Second, from activists, and you were somehow a person who had gone through it. Pag pumupunta yung mga UP students sa ilang communities, minsan nababansagan na mga komunista. At even if your intention is really to help, it could create a lot of parang doubts sa isip ng ating mga law enforcers o uniformed service personnel na ay mag-oorganisa itong mga to, mga kaliwa, itong mga batang to.
I'm not worried about that, Malu. No? Unang-una, yung sa parents, of course we will engage our parents. But remember this, ang youngest UP student now is already 18 years old.
Correct.
No? Matured na yan. They can make decisions on their own. Number two, we are going to reinforce that maturation process. Number three, we will not go into areas that we are not welcome. We will talk to the governor, LGU there. We will talk to the barangay captain if we have to. And we will engage our security establishment, our police and military. I'm not going to have a bias. Even if they doubt us, I will not doubt them. Because I will call on their patriotic duty and their professional duty to protect us. Now, I will tell you frankly, malagi na lang ako, what do you do with red tagging? Yung sinabi mo yung red tagging, yung buzzwords yan eh. Catch-all term yan. Sabi ko, I'm not going to bother and waste a lot of my time trying to stop red tagging. You know why? Because you can't stop people from doing what they want to do, especially if many of them feel strongly that they are right. Or maybe because they have some interest to protect. Why should I waste my time with that? What I'm doing in Pahinongon will be coupled with public diplomacy. Because I want to show the entire country the content of what we are doing. So instead of fighting them, I will just simply embrace them. No? So, and then I will engage them. I will talk to the necessary our colleagues in government, no? Sina Secretary Benhur Abalos, sina DND Secretary Charlie Galvez, no? I've met them already before in many capacities, even in socials. even the heads of our police and military.
Mhm.
I will I will attempt to clearly define the parameters of this relationship.
Mhm.
Because Malu, ang nakita ko rito, if we keep on treating this as us versus them, even if they don't feel like them is also with us, what is the greatest challenge facing our community today is building trust in institutions.
Okay, all right, all
And the
right.
only way to build trust in institutions is to engage. No? We know, we engage the challenges, we embrace the challenges, we embrace the complexity. I mean, this is not simple. And if it were not simple, why should you and I bother about this?
All right.
Let's give other
I
people.
know,
That's
but
why we're here.
there have been actual cases actually of
There
people
are.
who had been red tagged for no reason at all. And actually, the reasons are bad intelligence. Di ba po? Recently
Yes,
lang,
yes, yes, yes.
kasama yung mga kaibigan ninyo, kabatch ninyo na red
Oo,
tag,
oo,
sabi
oo.
NPA daw o napatay sa isang enkwentro. And UP has always been the hotbed of activism.
Yes,
And
yes,
right
yes.
now, you're probably also facing a lot of challenge from itong mga militants. It's not because they just probably not like you, but it's because they have big, bold ideas that are also, I think, correct or possible.
Yes, yes, yes. They
So
are
how do you deal
legitimate.
with the activists in UP and yung mga red tag cases na medyo na-injure o napatay yung mga UP
Oo,
alumni?
oo, oo. Well, ganito. No? As UP President, you cannot possibly engage yourself in everything, in all the aspects of the life of those who pass through and get UP education. No?
Correct, okay.
Many of them have their own political agenda. Let them. Pero sa UP lang ang concern ko. I have dealt already with them. And it's very clear. My job is to protect and enhance our liberal philosophy, no, of freedom of expression, academic freedom, no, yung the right to study, to pursue scholarships, to publish them, to express them, and this is a very self-correcting right. I told this to our friends in the national security establishment that academic freedom is not only guaranteed by the Constitution, it is guaranteed by the Constitution because it is a self-correcting concept. If you have that right, the others can also engage you. And in the process of the free market, maybe we can come out and arrive at the truth or some truth that we are all willing to accept or compromise. No? But the other thing, doon ako titindig. No? I will protect our basic freedoms. I cannot do otherwise. No? I cannot do otherwise. And naintindihan ko rin naman talaga yung ako po siguro ang the best person. I would probably be the best president that will be in a position to understand the position ng activism. As a matter of fact, or even yung mga kaliwa na sinasabi natin, no? Pero for me kasi kaliwa is I don't like to use that word kaliwa because kahon na kaagad, no? So
Ano dapat, sir?
well, anyway, I would like people to drill down on issues and less and more on branding, no, or but wala tayong magawa, no, the mind automatically
All right.
leads
Yeah.
towards abstraction. Pero
All right.
ganito, gusto ko palagi na i-discuss natin ang complexity ng issue. This is the reason why I mentioned earlier that we have to really embrace complexity and accept things for what they are. They are complex. There are no simple issues today. No, but babalik tayo, can we have more or less an agreement that we should at least trust our institutions and trust that we have meron tayong karapatan to be here,
All right.
to pursue what we want, but within bounds that will not destroy the institution.
All right.
I want to put that common agreement there. Otherwise, we'll be all gone.
Yeah, I agree.
Second ko,
On the
second ko
level of
talaga,
ideas, you're doing quite well. Di ba po? Para kung malumanay at parang makatao ang paraan ng pagdidebate, okay lang. Paano po kung gagamitan na ng dahas? O kung halimbawa palpak yung impormasyon, may violation ng due process. You're a lawyer. How do you feel about this? Kasi hindi naman ho UP students lang, ano po? Mga
hindi lang. No,
abogado, nare-red tag.
we really have to stand as an institution for human rights, no, because it is the only guarantee that we will ever have a civil existence, yung civilized existence. So it's the foundation of civilized life. Very understood. Very few sa akin nakikita na when you drill down, kahit may mga kaibigan akong talagang no, yung anti talaga, no, but of course iniiba nila because they know me. Iniiba nila, sabi ko, would you like to live in an area na walang human rights, walang due process? Sige, hatiin natin ang bansa. Anyone na ganito dito, wala namang may gusto. Actually, they understand more than what you can hear from their mouth. You know what I found out? I found out sa mga kaibigan ko na sincerely, naniwala talaga komunista tayo, which is for me, medyo kailangan konting pasensya, no? Kasi that is simply not correct, no? We just love the free exchange of ideas, and if some people have these ideas, we tolerate that. That's our culture. Pero nakita ko talaga sila deep down when you scratch the surface. Number one, taas ng respeto sa atin. No? Alam nila magagaling tayo. Number two, eto critical. Alam nila magiging leader din tayo in the future eh. Number three.
Lahat. May mga UP graduates na parang pumalpak o nawalan ng landas.
Hindi. Ang sinasabi ko lang na ang mga critics natin, meron silang hidden respect na hindi lang ini-express.
All right. Okay.
Pero ang third na kinabahan ako is this. Meron silang sense of grievance. Mabuti nga kayo. Nandun na kayo. Kami nga ganito lang kumakayod. Tapos pag makasalita kayo, mapanlait tayo. Yung mga words na ginagamit natin. Pumasa mo na kayo ng upkat. Sinasabihan ko talaga yung ating mga kaibigan na wag let's not put people down, no? Yung di ba, kami matatalino, kayo bobo or something like that. For me, I find it personally offensive, no? Kasi I was addressing students. Baka lang, no? Very important kasi sa message ko yung message ko sa students. Pero before that, siyempre we're not gonna tolerate that, no? Ang sabi ko sa mga communities natin, kung meron tayong cases of people being red tagged in a way that is really patently against the law, no? This is not the time. We have gone past complaining. It's about time we do case build up. I-record na yan. Of course, we have friends. UP was not designed to become a flag, no? No. Hindi mo naman sabihin kada may lawyers for human rights file. Wala po tayo. No? Yung legal office natin was not designed for that. Otherwise, although meron tayong yung sa UP Law Center. Pero you cannot do that for all the complaints. Pero babalik, I was thinking of doing a hotline. Ando na, no? I have already assigned someone. Kasi nangyari rin sa akin yan, no? So, assign someone to come out with a parang quick reaction concept for this. Kasi meron talaga pumupunta sa isang lugar, nagre-research, na-red tag, na-harass. Ang harassment dito is not harassment in the usual bias, no? Simple lang, kumusta po kayo? Anong ginagawa nyo dito? With uniform personnel, fully armed, yung mga researchers natin kakabahan na kagad yun.
Opo.
No? Kasi it's a natural reaction of any civilian in the face of an armed uniform personnel. Alam na ng batas yun. No? Alam na rin ng mga otoridad natin yun. I want to break that distrust.
Attorney Gigi, to a connected topic. You were in UP nung nagkaroon ng UP DND Accord. Ano po? Ang tungkulin nun dapat iwasan na biglang papasok sa pamantasan ang mga uniformed personnel at magdadampot o manghuhuli ng mga estudyante. I understand that during the selection process, you said you are against continuing the UPDND Accord. But in a later statement, you said na parang gusto ninyong ipagpatuloy with some revision na kasama dapat ang DILG sa usapan. At that time, wala pang INP, kaya DND talaga yung in charge ng Armed Forces of the Philippines at Integrated National Police. Ano talaga ang inyong posisyon? Should the accord be respected and should still be continued and improved?
Yes, Malu. I'm sorry, but I think that there was really a conscious effort to explain me in another way that was not me, no?
Right.
I know your source of information already. I know the people. And if you really dig down to that interview, I did never change my position.
I'm tracking collegian reports.
That particular report, no, it did not represent my position at all.
All right, go please.
But ganito yan, ako ang nag-push for that. I negotiated for those DLG board. I signed it as a student regent.
Correct.
And I have always repeated in my public social media account, I couldn't possibly say I don't want it now, no.
All right.
And I never said it. What I said, Malu, is this: students, let's go beyond buzzwords.
Okay.
Second, I do not agree with institution UPD and the Accord.
Mhm.
I do not agree with that term because that term refers to the military.
Mhm.
Ang gusto ko, some other term that includes the DALG Accord. Kasi
Correct.
mas critical yan. Number two, when I ask, ano ang content? It talks about entry of uniformed personnel primarily to make arrest. No,
Correct.
among the foremost provision doon.
Provisions,
Who
yeah.
makes arrest in the Philippines? Only the
PNP.
police. It's not a military function. Who issues arrest warrants? It's the civilian courts who takes the warrant. If
Mhm.
you focus on the D&D Accord, you are actually misleading the issue. I said that, no? Kasi alam niyo naman ang history niyan, Malu, di ba? It started 1982. It was we called it a Soto and Really agreement, no? And
Mhm.
many of that part of the agreement became part of the UPD and the Accord after the Cory administration came in. And
Correct.
because the DND, because the PCINP, no, Philippine Conservative Integrated National Police, was under the DND at that
At the
time.
time. Correct.
They
Mhm.
realized the anomaly. The police cannot, which is a civilian function, couldn't possibly under a military organization. So in
Mhm.
1991, they created the DALG and moved the police there, and now it's called Philippine National Police,
Correct.
together with the Polcom. And that was the reason why we pushed for a separate DALG accord. Nagiging in law, naging basically functus officio na
Mhm.
yung UPD and the Accord. And I was worried that the students don't understand this, no? Or are my friends na
I know.
mas mag-alala tayo dito. Pero kasama rin yun dapat, no? Kasi my view is, ang institutionalized natin is entry of all uniformed personnel, including paramilitary groups.
Very good. Okay.
So I wanted to
Actually,
engage them with that, no? So
that was the
because of that,
historical context na missing. Ano po, nung panahon na pinirmahan ninyo as student regent, yung kasunduan, yung DND ang in charge, Armed Forces of the Philippines,
yes, yes.
INP. At sa totoo
Yeah.
lang, hindi lang naman police yung pumapasok, mga sundalo, sir, ng
Yes,
Military
yes.
Intelligence
Ganito.
Group.
Ganito,
Okay.
Malu, no? In the
Opo.
case of, siyempre allergic mga tao, not everyone in UP is not comfortable with uniform presence. No? Iba-iba mas dati natin. We have about 54,000 students. Many of them are children of uniform
Personnel.
personnel. No? They're there. They're welcome there. No? We should welcome them. Pero
Correct.
ganito lang from the framework ko lang dito. I frame it like this. You may frame it your own way, but as a regent at the time, I frame it like this. Meron tayong 44th Training Brigade sa Davao. They were there before us, sa UP Mindanao. They were there before us. And I talked to them. Of course, there is a little wariness, but I was told by a chancellor there before na, alam mo, Regent, they participate even in our lantern parade. Nagdala ng sariling parot. The other one is, the point is they were there before us. No? And they have families living in those areas. No? Na UP property na issue at problema ko pala yan, no? How to handle those things. The other one is, ito Malu ha, QCPD, Camp Karingal, is renting UP land right now in Sikatuna Village. We are their landlords tayo ng UP. So sabi ko lang ng QCPD, no? And it is sa akin, I frame it like this. It is not, hindi po yung presensya ng pulis o militar ang kalaban ng academic freedom. It is not their presence that is anathema to academic freedom.
Okay, good.
It is their posture or postura nila. Are they menacing? No? Are they harassing our students? Because you cannot possibly, because as government office, you cannot say we don't like police. That is a very dangerous statement. But there are crimes happening in UP, and we need the nation, the people needs a police organization, a civilian organization that is in charge of peace and order, no, in our cities and in our streets. So,
I think you've unpacked the issue very well, okay? Ang sunod nating katanungan, yung tungkol dun sa ROTC na mandatory. I don't know if UP will be affected kasi chartered university kayo, pero may proposal na mandatory training sa ROTC. Merong vanguard naman ng UP. Ano po? Ano mo yung tingin ninyo ngayon dun sa issue na yon?
In general, nakapagbitaw na ako ng maraming statement dito, Malu, no?
Na ayaw nyo.
I would prefer voluntary ang ROTC.
Correct.
Number one, I would prefer na voluntary, no? Because recognize naman natin din, no, na it's our duty to protect our country, and many countries in the world have those aspects, no, na military training just for preparedness, no. Pero sa akin talaga, I would rather I would prefer the current format na ngayon na voluntary siya, kasi it's something that we need as well, no? And we have to respect those who want to participate in it. Ang issue kasi nitong bagong proposed batas, no, meron tayong NSTP, di ba? National Service Training Program. Merong Common Core Program, and there are 3 modules you can select. One of them is military training, no? And we are improving that program kasi bago pa lang to, ha. I mean, we have to improve this program. ROTC has been with us for more than half a century. Ako nga, graduate ako ng ROTC. Wala namang problem per se, no? If there is a clear need right now and we can actually implement this, because let's remove the concept na ROTC is bad. It is good, but put it in the proper context, no? Do we really need it right now? No, I mean, meron ba talagang tayong threat that despite all the problems of K-12, yung adjustment ng entire educational systems natin, ang lack and underinvestment of education natin, we would like to add 240 more hours for students. Ito yung implication ng bagong batas, ha. 2 semesters lang ang NSTP. The new proposed law will make it 4 semesters. That's added 1 year in a student's life. Ngayon, libre ang UP, pero what about in the private institution? This will increase the cost for parents. Correct. That's one thing. The other thing is that ang complement natin ngayon, no, is ang estimate namin, we will need twice our current complement to implement this new program. Number 3, yung from I think half, no, to 240 hours. No? The other thing is we need to be able to consult more schools with the new law, no, so that there can be more inputs, no. I think they're doing that right now kasi alam mo yung there is this last year lang, no, any changes indeed. Meron tayong National Capacity Enhancement Training Program for implementers of NSTP, and they're supposed to discuss ways of improving it kasi ang purpose niyan, di ba, civic consciousness, patriotism, which are very good, no. Hindi ba lang na-discuss to? Hindi pa natin na perfect ito. Now we're moving to we're doubling it into the current format na maging 2 years. Another one is, Malu, alam mo, mention ko kanina pero hindi ko discuss, no? Underinvested tayo sa education. Right now, we have 3.9% ng GDP, no? Our goal is 6%. Kulang na tayo, no? Just to deal with serious problems like 9 out of 10 Filipinos 10 years old cannot read. Surveys by the World Bank saying that out of 17
poverty.
Yes, learning is out of 17 countries, Philippines is dead last in reading comprehension.
Correct.
The good news is that we are not dead last in science and mathematics. That's the good news. Out of 79, we are 78. We're second to the last. That's the good news. No? So, ito yung mga problema na hinaharap natin. Nagsasara ang maraming, like about 2% of basic education, private, nagsara no, because of COVID. No? So, we are facing many of these problems. I would like to ask, do we really need to do this now? Pwede ba nating i-place ito properly? We're not against it. That kind of statement says, I'm not against it. I just want to do it properly. Number 2, I'd like to be clarified on certain things. No? Number 1 is, bakit natin i-require yung foreigners, no, ng military training? No? Nandun sa basa mo, meron dong mandatory for foreigners. I like the concept, no, yung so that they will imbibe Philippine culture and tradition, so that they will become bridge of our people to their own people. I have no problem with that. My only problem is, I don't have a problem with that. I have only one question. How will you do that with that kind of program? Kasi I'm sure hindi na maraming foreigners ma-discourage kung mag-enroll sa Pilipinas. They will have to go to risk, hindi sila record sa bansa nila, no? And we have South Korea and Singapore, no? They have compulsory training. South Korea and Singapore. South Korea is in a state of war, no? Kasi wala naman silang peace agreement with North Korea. What they have is an armistice lang. Ceasefire lang yun technically. So I understand, but they don't even require foreigners, no. I
Correct.
mean, to enroll, to appreciate Korean culture. I guess they don't do that with all those
But
with all those Korean
Mhm.
power in Sokmed and yung ano yung mga BTS. There's such a power in the world right now, no? Soft power. But at any rate, then second yung concept nila na sinasabi, ano yun, yung ready reserve. Meron silang concept na ready reserve inside schools. Gusto kong malaman more na what does it really comprehend? Kasi we're supposed to give space for them, no?
Correct.
So these are all technical problems but you see, hindi naman pwedeng sarado ang isip natin. And I do not want anything I say today nagsasabing sarado ako. No. As a UP, we have to be really open about it, including ROTC. Especially since ROTC has been there for decades, for a century in UP. They were there. So I would like to ask all sides to discuss this in all good faith and in earnest. Don't just try to understand where each other is coming from.
But you
In
make a
other
good
words,
point about investing more in yung learning poverty issue rather than
yes, learning
spending money
poverty.
as something
Hindi
that
lang
we
learning poverty.
have no need for at the moment.
Hindi lang learning poverty, no? Kasi learning poverty has to do with
Okay.
poor curriculum, low faculty development. Ang essential pa dito is learning deprivation, no? Yung hindi talaga makapasok sa schools, no?
Correct.
So
Okay.
may learning poverty learning, no? Deprived ka of schools, no? Because kulang tayo sa school. So kung national security pag-usapan, alam niyo, I believe that the basis of national security is a strong educational institutions, because strong educational institutions produce great skills, and great skills produce innovation, and innovation produce strong economy, and strong economies build, if you're interested in your defense force, build better defense forces.
Right.
Every analysis of national security today goes beyond yung defense establishment. We're talking about kinetic war. Hybrid war na nga ngayon. Wala lang. Si Putin lang nag-invade ng Ukraine. So sabi niya, hindi pa tapos ang 19th century or old concept of warfare, of people invading other people. Nations today compete through hybrid wars. Wala na yung concept na kinetic warfare. They fight with their currency. They fight. There is lawfare, information warfare. But anyway, huwag na tayo pumunta doon.
Yeah, you know it too well. Para itong topic na to, now I'll ask you. You are a frat man, Alpha Phi Beta. And you have some colleagues that are in senior positions in government, including Senator Cheese, who was a regent when you were selected. But also, may recent cases, yung Tau Gamma hazing. UP has had its share of frat hazing incidents. Ano yung tingin ninyo? I know that you don't like to propose that frats should be abolished. Ano po? And there was a time, nung panahon ng martial law period, the fraternities were really quite helpful in promoting academic freedom and excellence in the university kasi they did a lot of good work. So anong posisyon niyo? Dapat bang i-abolish ang mga frats?
No, alam mo, I don't even have to take a position.
I know.
The law protects them already. The
Correct.
freedom of association is constitutionally guaranteed, no? I mean,
Correct.
it's there. And second, yes, true. I'm not in favor of abolishing fraternity because I look at it as organizations. Ang critical dito is their orientation and their culture. No, ganito yan. I mean, I know I'm a fraternity. I'm a member of the Alpha Phi Beta fraternity. Our own Brad Joelina created that very, very draconian, very strict anti-hazing law of 1995 that illegalized many of these things that's happening today.
Correct.
We just simply have to find a way to enforce these rules. No, I think it is unfair to say abolish fratman because they created these initiations. Alam mo, there are other organizations in the country that does more damage to our culture and our moral fiber and even our economy than fraternities. No?
Correct.
The fraternity is not the only source of powerful group solidarity or group feeling that unreasoningly support anyone within law. We all have our own, especially starting with our families. No? Even if you abolish the fraternity, somehow they will have to be reinvented, or they will
go underground.
They will all go underground, or they can be transformed into other areas. No? I mean, we have so many other organizations. I don't want to mention their names, because they have their own elaborate rights. That they're not fraternities. Some of them are semi-religious in character. Some of them have medieval symbolisms that has something to do with occult. No? So, I mean, marami yan. No? So, I think it has to be properly reframed as we have to change culture And that should include our fraternities, no?
Okay, so
Kasi napakaliit na area yan ng overall change natin na gusto nating transformative change. And alam mo fraternity galing sa America yan yung concept natin yan So meron silang ganon, no? So it is something that will always emerge because of the innate desire of people to belong. No? So remove the fraternity concept, it will transform itself into some other form. So why don't we focus on the substance of the issue rather than, for me, automatic abolish frat. Right. In the first place, that's not constitutionally allowed.
Correct. And there was a time when the fraternities were in alliance, with one another. And I'm sure
they're very progressive. Some of the fraternities were born as progressive organizations, and they continue to be progressive organizations today. No, they produce our professors, our scholars, our leaders. No, our leaders of the country today, not just in politics, but in the arts, in culture. No, so maraming ganong
who will lead the reorientation of the culture kung sakali? Kasi it comes back to the universities actually where the fraternities exist. And also yung recruitment, yung initiation processes ng ilan, hindi naman lahat po.
Okay,
paano
sige.
yung gagawin? Ano yung pwedeng monitoring o enforcement ng anti-hazing law?
Okay, ganito yan. No? Unang-una, ilimit na natin sa university fraternities. No? Because I would like to maybe rephrase a little bit this time mo na.
Correct.
Not all fraternity didn't come from universities. Ang dami fraternity sa labas. No? Mga sa city jail, meron din silang fraternity doon. No? So, and it is a school of higher learning. No, the things you learn there are quite incredible. But anyway, simple lang. No? We implement the law. Pero, alam mo, they can always hide. No? Kung those who are intent on violating, they can always hide. And there is no way we can put because they don't have to do that in the university. Wala namang nangyayari sa university na
outside.
So outside na yan, and they are 18 years old. I'm talking about UP students. No? So we just simply have to create a new values and new sources of identity that can satisfy this innate desire for belonging to a group, which is, for me, iron law yun. Pero eto lang, as a lawyer, I would have to go back to my basic reflexes. No? If you find a violation, implement the law, prosecute them. Because we will have to use the law as a tool of deterrence. No? As a tool of deterrence. So that kung nangyari na, wala na tayong magawa.
Alright.
But it will serve as a great example. The violation of the law is in fact being used now to magnify its magnificence. No? Na ito binayolate mo, now there is certain prosecution. This will satisfy the ends of justice. This will quiet the aggrieved families who are the actual victims of this, no? of these heinous offenses, no? committed by our young people. Natandaan mo, Malu, yung nabasa ba natin, pinapabasa pa tayo ng literature noon, yung kay William Golding's Lord of the Flies.
Correct.
You see how young people na unsupervised turned into beasts. They were killing each other. And walang adult supervision. So I think we have to have a more compassionate culture that will understand their needs and know that they can come to us as peers, as a self-nurturing, caring environment in the university.
Okay. Now let's go to one problem that you will have to confront really, the issue of your non-academic personnel. I understand about 2,500 or 40% of your people in Diliman and across the campuses are non-plantilla. Ibig sabihin may demand po for regularizing them, and I think President Concepcion had started this, had promised it, but they're not fully implemented yung pangako niya. Anong plano ninyo?
Ganito yan, Malu. No? UP is a government institution. No? Government institution. It works on item available or plantilla item provision, and that will not come from UP. It will come from the DPM or the national government. So we will continue to pursue that, and by pursuing that, we have to have very, very persuasive grounds, no? Based on what we are actually doing that can benefit our people and in the process our government as well. That will require, number one, a very cogent program that these people are needed by your national university. The other one is that would require, on a personal basis, a very good relationship, very good negotiations on a personal level. And doon po yung DBM natin. No? So that's one thing. But balik tayo sa concept ng contractual. Siyempre, we have to work with what we have. But apparently, many parts of UP needed more workers that are the UP has items to provide and even has the resources to provide complete. Alam mo yung dalawa yung klaseng contractual ha. There is a UP contractual na tinatawag na kompleto yan. SSS, kompleto. And then may contractual lang talaga. No, na, yung basic, no? Yung no, na nire-renew yan. Challenge talaga yan. I'm very careful with this no? Kasi many of our offices today, including very critical offices, rely on contractual people. Why? Because with contractual, they have freedom to pick people na wala na sa pool, no? Kasi these people have their trust and confidence. And not only that, they have the specific competence to help our offices, I'm talking about higher level offices, perform certain specialized functions. A contractual, I don't believe in, nangyari na yan before, lalo na ngayon, no, yung reducing people, except through attrition lang siguro, no? Kasi that's humanitarian. But what I want to do is combine with increase in lobbying for more plantilla items, no? Lobbying for more resources to be able to add more benefits, no? Regular benefits of regular employees to our employees. I want to be able to strike at the root of that, no, by installing systems to make our management systems efficient and therefore less need for always yung mga contractual labor na lang palagi, no. Yung nandun na yung mga contractors natin dito ngayon, ilinaw ko lang, are there because they are needed. They're needed.
Necessary sa primary and important strategic functions ng university, pero hindi sila plantilla dahil walang items.
Wala talaga. We have to fight that every year, no? And that is always a challenge of every president. And not only that, that is a challenge of every institution in the country today, no? Ang dami nila, no? Sa local governments, no? It's a continuing problem. But while solving that problem, I already want to do certain improvements, no? Unang-una, Malu, alam mo bang delayed, minsan 6 months mga sweldo nila. No, galing ako sa labor, no? Galing ako sa labor. Yung process natin, no? And we have made initial analysis doon sa accounting, no? Yung sa CU level, wala sa systems level, no? Yung college, yung constituent university level. And there were several things. Number one, ang common complaint na is COA rules, no? Talagang very tight, no? Number two, I think we need to be able to make everyone appreciate what the others are doing, no? Kasi decades of accepting delay has created the culture na part na ng buhay natin yun. I don't want to accept that. No? I do not want to accept that. No? Parang the danger that I see in some aspects of our life in UP is that we have come to accept mediocrity or less than par performance on certain aspects of our lives there as part of life. And that particular delay, yes, the delay in salary, gusto na nga natin i-enhance yung salary, hindi na natin ma-enhance, i-delay pa natin. No? Sa private sector kasi, you'll be fired if you cannot produce that. No?
Correct.
Unang-una ito, the private sector is being disciplined by the harsh reality of the market. If you're not efficient, you die.
Correct.
But a public institution, you don't do that. Theoretically, governments don't go bankrupt. O delay ka lang, darating din yan. No? So, we do not have to be efficient in order to continue as a university. Can you imagine if we apply private sector efficiencies? Maraming magbabago kailangan, no? And we will face a revolt, no? That's why hindi pwedeng mas biglain mo lang, no? Because you might do more harm than good.
All right.
So,
now you've come up with
talaga yun.
All right. You've come up with a management team that seems impressive. Ano? What do you think your management team, what does it offer? What does it show by way of messaging sa choices ninyong ginawa?
Yeah, okay. Unang-una, I wanted to spread out the selection process to sa para may ma-pick ka from different constituent universities na hindi lang Diliman, no?
Okay.
Number two, I scoured very wide for those who immerse themselves in industry practice, no? Yung
Alright.
para ganun talaga. And then second, I did critical things like ask our veterans, no, like Vice President of Academic Affairs, Cynthia Bautista, to help me along. Don't leave. Sabi ko, ma'am, don't leave, ma'am. I need you. Kung ako lang, ang sabi ko nga, I'll be very frank about this. If I am allowed to dream, I would rather keep Cynthia Bautista there for a longer period, not now than just helping me in transition. She was my professor in sociology, no? But I'm retaining a combination of other people, of veterans there para ma-ensure lang na may continuity and also to help the new ones adjust to leading as UP at the systems level. Remember, this is just system level. This is not constituency level, but you have overall systems level management initiative. So that is the message. I want it to be more representative. I want to bring in a healthy mix of those coming from industry and those from inside. I think it's fairly balanced, but we will always be tweaking it all the time.
All right. Now, si Dr. Cynthia will remain for the moment, hold over for academic affairs. But you have a Vice Chancellor for academic affairs na medyo bago. At Doktor po, from National Institute of Health Services. Pero ano ho yun? Parang,
you mean Vice President?
Yeah, Vice President for Academic Affairs, si Dr. Cubilla. So, ano ho yun?
Yes.
So you have a lawyer for president, for academic affairs, which is, as you said, the core of your functions and the university's directions. So may messaging ba doon na it used to be na...
No. Alam mo, ganito yan, no? We're in the process now. I'm putting Dr. Cubillan. He's the nation's foremost eye doctor, and he's a very accomplished scholar as well. But he is also a pillar of UP Manila, kaya medyo I'm a little embarrassed to get a very vital cog of UP Manila. And I nagpaalam nga ako kay Chancellor Menchit Padilla, Mama, I hope you don't mind, no? Sabi niya, kasi pwede pa naman siyang tumulong because Leo is very instrumental in implementing the programs, including yung development programs of UP Manila, no? But he's more than just an eye doctor, and she's from Berkeley as well, no? Aside from fulfilling his medical degree, no? But I explain this to people, no? Si Cynthia is critical, and that is a problem. From a management point of view, everyone is critical. And I don't want somebody to be so critical na kung mawala siya, babagsakin mo ang organizations mo. There's something wrong with your organization if someone is too critical that it will destroy you if you lose that person or that office. I'm going to divide that na nga no? It will be academic affairs, research and innovation, and public service. And there are others so that more or less mabalance, no? Mabalance the perspective. Right now, he is advising. He is coming into. He will be sliding into a post. Right now, I haven't made a decision yet on.
All right. Okay.
Kung ano ang saang BP or anong area finally, but he's into that. He's helping with academic affairs with Cynthia Bautista.
Fair, dahil ilang araw pa lang, 3 linggo pa lang po kayo, na mula nagsimula.
And I want to do a lot of things pa. So, medyo, yes.
Medyo warming up pa lang din, Ang sense ko lang na parang isang tanong na unusual. I don't know if you've encountered a personal dilemma here. When you were a student leader at that, sa UP, the students were really focused on actually criticizing and fighting against martial law. Then under Ferdinand Marcos Sr., the father of our president now. Now, of course, the president now has installed you as president of the University of the Philippines. May konti bang dilemma doon na the father of the president now was the center of criticism at that time of UP, and now that we have a Marcos Jr. revival, are you at a cross what to do with that?
No, I don't have a problem with that. Unang-una, I was not instituted by the President of the Philippines. I was elected by the board.
No? Yes, but appointed formally.
Yes,
okay.
And I went to the mountains in Mindanao to take my oath before by lumads. I am a lumad as well.
Correct. From Butuan.
But from Butuan City, our region is the second poorest region in the country, next only to Barm. And Malu, I write and I speak. Wala na akong problema to express myself but I found it inadequate to bring home the message na ultimately ang loyalty natin belongs to these people, the marginalized. And I thought that one picture could do this for me. No, I don't have to really say so many things. And that reflects as well my view with President. I am not I don't have a problem with that because several levels. Number one, I'm the president of a public institution. And that's the president of the Philippines. He was elected by the people, and that's in a process that we all engage in. We simply have to respect that. No, we cannot condemn the rest of the country. Why are we in a position to condemn? However, the cases against the Marcos are already in the courts, no, and the courts are running. No, and I have a problem in front of me. How to transform these universities. For me, I want to look at the bigger picture. I really want to look at the big picture because I cannot solve everything. I mean, I have very specific responsibilities that I must perform as a public servant, and that is not even the most complex issue that I'm facing right now. So I'm focusing on that. If you tell me I have problems, no, I do not have.
All right. That's a fair thing. Actually, so at this end, you want to be apparently by your words and your plans a leader and a manager, no? Parang management is doing things right and leadership is doing the right things. Sabi ng.
No, for me, leadership is far more than that. No, you have to have vision. No, you have to be empowering. You have to be inspiring. I was asked, Malu, what would be your best trait as a president? No, I said, I'm a storyteller. Because I feel that in today's very confusing world of fast-paced dizzying change, what we need is a powerful and strong common narrative as a people, a narrative that can encompass all our differences. When you look at we have to build this narrative, and we need storytellers. Storytelling is the oldest art, diba? I mean, even before writing, there was storytelling.
All right.
And let us use this power of a great story to unite our people. I want to be able to help unite these nations. And so I know there are divisions. I know some of those things I keep personally to myself, but ultimately I'm looking at my job and I have a job to do. And it is a very powerful symbolic position as well. So I'm not going to do everything with my anong klaseng leader ako kung ako mismo ang gagawa ng management gano'n. I'm not like that as a leader. I just inspire, give missions, and then trust our people.
All right. Okay. So para sa mga UP alumni at mga UP community na nandyan pa rin kasama ninyo, pag sinabing si President Angelo Jimenez, ano siya? Anong dapat nilang matandaan?
Depende kung sana, pero alam mo ganito. Sinabi ko sa turnover speech ko na gusto ko ng honor, excellence, pero kulang na talaga yan sa panahon ngayon. Ang tingin ko kailangan i-develop talaga natin as a UP culture, yung malasakit. Ang vision ko, 6 years from now, pag may dadaan sa UP, na taga-UP, ang masa sasabihin na may taga-UP, yan mga tao may malasakit. Gusto ko ma-connect yung malasakit sa word na UP. That is why pahinungod engagement, public diplomacy, and close contact with industry, close contact with government. In other words, we are in part of our community, we are engaged with our community, and we are casting our lot in a common future with them. Now, pero tinanong ako kung papiliin lang ako ng isang trait.
Okay.
Hindi ako pwede. Pipiliin ko yung kindness. Gusto ko, I want to be remembered as a kind president.
Hindi matalino, hindi matapang.
Hindi na matalino. Kasi tingin ko sa mundo na to, hindi po pagkukulang ng talino eh. Ang tingin ko, sa mundo natin ito, maraming nade-depress, maraming nagsusuicide, no? Marami tayong issues, they're so challenged, so stressed. What would be the best trait that can emphasize the unity that comes of recognition of our common humanity? Sa tingin ko po, kindness. Huwag na pong matalino si Gigil, no? I mean, yung asawa ko, naniwala na siya na matalino ako, tama na sa akin yun.
Abisto na niya na matalino kayo. Pero
otherwise, sabi niya, hindi daw niya ako pakasalan. At anyway, Oh, so
So dapat compassionate. Parang, but that was
yes,
also
yes,
the term that President Danny Con also used, di ba? Compassion.
yes.
Kayo
But
po.
I told them I want compassion on steroids.
All right. Okay, level
Yes,
up.
strengthen ko
Compassion.
po. Oh, strengthen ko po.
Mm.
Kaya nga lang, on a personal level, of course, challenge yun, no? Because not everything you do will be understood as kindness. And that is the challenge.
Mm.
No?
Do
Gusto ko
you
lang
think,
malaman nila na kung magmukha mang hindi siya kind ang dating sa inyo, please ask me why. So that
mm,
you will understand my particular perspective as well. No?
Pero sir, it's so difficult to be kind and
It
compassionate
is.
in a world like ours where you hear stories day in and day out about violence on the streets or corruption in government. So how do you configure this kindness? Kumbaga, para how do you square a
Ah,
circle?
hindi po. I mean, kindness is reaching out. It's I'm talking about kindness on a deeper philosophical and even moral level. No, na we need to be able to build trust in each other. This is more fundamental than solving even yung corruption. There will always be there. No? I mean, yung mismanagement, mispriority. We will always have these problems. But I think what this nation needs today is a little recognition of our common humanity that I hope can enable us to implement reforms that are very transformational and very definite, and it will involve changing deeply embedded biases and values and beliefs that are no longer working for us.
All
So
right.
for me, that is the challenge more. We need intelligent people, and alam mo, any brain can be developed eh. The brain can transmit. The neurons in the brain, that's a science right now. No? Walang bobong tao kung, of course, kung yung
Opo, wala.
nutrition is very difficult. No?
Multiple intelligences tayo, no
Yes.
sir?
Oh,
Opo.
so
So,
it's about time that we tingin natin yabang na matatalino. For me, ang angat yung mapagkumbaba. No? Para sa akin lang, ang angat yung mapagkumbaba. Yung tunay na may empathy, may malasakit sa kapwa. Kasi that is more, it's a personal belief and I feel strongly about this. No?
okay, good.
Why,
Yeah, good to
why
hear.
don't we give
Parang,
why don't we give kindness a chance? But
Oo.
hindi kindness na, okay, labo-labo, sige, hindi ganon. No? No, hindi ganon. No?
Yeah. So dapat purposive at saka tipong
Yes, yes,
positive yung results
yes.
ng kindness.
Di ba yung our
Mhm.
parents are kind to us, but they do things that we don't like. No? We don't because we don't understand. No? So, not that I think I'm the parent for all. No, I'm just Gigi lang.
You sound like a spiritual and moral leader rather than a university president.
No, because I realize that unless we establish that moral foundation of our common humanity, we will never be able to unite. Eh. Alam mo, Manu, we have become too self-absorbed. Ang mga away-away, alam mo, I want UP to be looking outward rather than inward. No? Marami tayong mga intramurals sa loob, but if we focus on bigger goals, this will all disappear, and some of them will look petty. And but I will not condemn them as well because these things are very human. Kami sa private sector before, I'm speaking as a labor lawyer na half of my feet is always personal management, di ba? Yun naman palagi concern ng labor. So nasisilip yung aspect na yun. And I want to introduce true human resource management concepts sa UP. Na wag na nating tanggapin na because palaging delayed ang salary, palaging ganito na lang, na normal na po. No?
Okay. So on that note, we'd like to thank you for your time and for your bundle of ideas. Really thought very provocative, at we hope that they all come to fruition.
Well, we can only try our best, Manu.
All right. Okay. Attorney Angelo Jimenez, President, 22nd of the University of the Philippines. Maraming salamat po. Keep safe and healthy and hopeful.
Thank you.
All
Thank you
right.
po.